pentagram. Drag race winner slammed for posing naked next to 10-year-old child. This is where the going gets rough for the LGBT community, because now we've got some dirt happening. Photographer issues statement after admitting several people found the image distasteful. Are they going to show us the image? Oh my God. They have to be out of their minds. Conservatives are up in arms over a picture of a naked drag race winner and a 10-year-old child. Season 7 star Violet Chachki was photographed with several people at the last drag con. She was only wearing makeup, a wig, heels, and a tuck for the penis. One right-wing news site called the image troubling and over-sexualized. Duh. I mean, this right here is exactly what it is. Young drag queen posed with a naked Violet Chachki. That's exactly what it is. Any explanation beyond it is full of crap. There's the image. And then somebody comments, can someone explain why Violet Chachki is photographed completely naked, not minus a pasty, with lactation? And many online began to describe Violet as a pedophile. One said, I don't care what semantics you want to argue, she's a pedo in my book and she should be treated as such. Girl, have you not realized when you were taking this picture how inappropriate this is? This is not okay. Others also made it perfectly clear Violet is obviously not a pedophile. Okay, let's just start by saying there are people that acknowledge Violet is drag and are okay with it, yet even those people think that this is inappropriate. Wow. Another also said, this photo isn't harming anyone. Instagram has also removed the image. Well, if Instagram removed the image, doesn't that tell us something? It's breaking some kind of rule or something. What pisses me off is this statement. She took a picture with a child. That's all. If that drag kid had been a little girl posing next to a naked man with a pasty over his penis, all hell would break loose. But because it's a drag guy with a little drag boy, it's not harming anyone. These people are out of their minds. Photographer issues a response. All right, what'd the photographer say? How dumb are they? Photographer Jonathan Turton has also issued a statement on the social media platform. So Instagram took down my photo of the drag kid I interviewed for Huck magazine. I'm posting another one because although on reflection I realized that the particular photo I posted with the older drag queen was distasteful for many, I 100% stand by the article. He also said, often my job is to report upon people and groups living on the margins of society. Really? Do you report on children being kidnapped? Do you report on sex trafficking? Prostitution? Homeless people? Those are people living on the margins of society. I just wish people were a bit more understanding of each other's differences and the duty of the journalist to explore what are, for some people, uncomfortable subjects. I wish people were a bit more understanding of each other's differences. How is that a response to a photo of a grown naked man with a little boy dressing in drag? How is this a response to that? Oh, so we need to be more understanding that he likes to pose naked next to little boys. We need to be more understanding of that, right? I'm done. Exclusive. 9-year-old drag queen horrifically abused after modeling for LGBT fashion company. A 9-year-old drag queen has experienced a horrific backlash after they modeled for a clothing company. Canadian Nemis Golden hit the headlines last year when he stole the show during a Bianca Del Rio comedy set. And the youngster went viral when he told viewers on YouTube, if you want to be a drag queen and your parents don't let you, you need new parents. And Canada agrees with that too, by the way. If you want to be a drag queen and your friends don't let you, you need new friends. Now Lactatia has modeled for LGBTQ clothing company House of Man and slayed. But his appearance has led to a horrifying flood of threats and abuse on social media. The 9-year-old has been targeted with vile comments, while House of Man owner Brandon Hilton has received death threats and countless tweets telling him he's a pedophile. Lactatia's mother, Jessica, told Pink News that it was absolutely disturbing. The amount of online hate and backlash House of Man has received and is receiving. These people, the ones who hate on it so fiercely, do not understand drag couture, or drag performance. There's no point in even trying to explain it to them either, because they can't, won't, and don't want to understand it. House of Man designs brilliant drag and burlesque pieces. No, Lactatia will not be modeling their burlesque pieces, and the fact that we need to clarify that is absolutely absurd. Fortunately, the 9-year-old and his mom are used to the abuse. Jessica said, "Every time we've gone viral, the internet is up in arms about it." Shouldn't that tell you something? Why would you want to put this little 9-year-old boy, why would you want to submerge him in this culture where there is so much hate? He's 9. He's not supposed to be an icon that breaks through the hate and sends a message to other kids. That's not his role. He's too young to carry that kind of burden. There are adult celebrities who have a hard time handling the critics and handling, verbal abuse from strangers. But you expect a 9-year-old to be able to cope with this life? They have signed his name on a contract he did not even read. For myself personally, I don't feed the trolls, and I don't care what people have to say, no matter how profoundly awful. It really does bother me. In true drag style, she signed off, "God bless Mama Ru." That's RuPaul, I think. Ugh. Understandably, this didn't seem to be the way Hilton took the horrendous torrent of abuse he has faced. See? And that's a grown man. Woke up to countless tweets telling me to kill yourself and calling me a pedo after we announced 9-year-old drag superstar Lactatia as our new House of Man cover girl, he wrote on Twitter. The Christian Post. How should Christians respond to child drag queens and sexualizing kids? Mainstream acceptance of sexualizing children was once thought unthinkable, but with society celebrating such things as children performing in drag shows, some are asking, is pedophilia being normalized? Crystallizing these worries in recent days was a photo posted to Instagram showing a 10-year-old Canadian boy named Nemis Golden, who's been featured on network and cable news shows as Lactatia, his stage name, posing next to a naked man who was the most recent winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. The photo emerged on the heels of another child drag performer, Desmond Naples, who is known as Desmond is Amazing, being seen in a video dancing in a skimpy white top and a blonde wig to Gwen Stefani's I'm Just a Girl, before a crowd of men who threw dollar bills at him at a gay bar in New York City. Both Golden and Naples' parents are supportive of their sons and have said they are just playing and expressing themselves and have asserted that they are not sexualizing their own children. Okay? In a final point segment on OANN Monday, host Liz Wheeler asked how the photo of Golden could be construed as anything other than child pornography. Are drag queens exempt from the laws protecting children from adult sexual predators? Are parents of drag kids exempt from the laws that prohibit parents from facilitating sexual encounters between minor children and adult predators? She inquired, rejecting the notion that her distaste was rooted in bigotry and homophobia. Okay? Tell me how this is possibly okay. Tell me how this is not child abuse. Tell me how this is not close to pedophilia. Wheeler said, challenging leftists to defend this. What makes this any different from child pornography? Wheeler noted that no one has attempted to protect these children from sexual exploitation. Instead, the boys' parents are facilitating their participation in drag events, and the phenomenon of drag kids has even been celebrated on ABC's Good Morning America. Yes, it has. Oh, and this is the exact point that I was just making. If a straight 10-year-old girl was posed with a naked adult man, the man would go to prison so fast he wouldn't know what happened to him, as his fellow inmates would beat him for child sex abuse before he had time to unpack his bag. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, believes the phenomena of children in drag has come about because of the cultural dumbing down of what it means to be a human being to nothing but the sum total of one's desires and inclinations. Yes, yes. We are nothing but the total of our desires, our inclinations, our imaginations, our creativity, our individuality. We are nothing but the sum of our minds and our emotions and our will. That's it. But we are so much more than that. We are being taught that we are nothing more. I love this statement. In other words, we've insulted the definition of the human being, the imago Dei, the image of God, Piper said in an interview with the Christian Post on Tuesday. If you've got a passion or an appetite, an inclination, or a proclivity to do something, that's the sum total of who you are. That's an insult to the human being, he said, as it reduces humans to mere animals. The Christian faith, then, is exactly the opposite of that, he stressed. As beings made in God's image, humans have moral culpability, awareness, and responsibility, and in the context of young boys in drag, culture is dumbing down the definition of a child as nothing but what he wants to do. Piper also believes another factor lies at the root of the problem. When the male libido is unleashed from any constraints, any biblical standard, who suffers most and who suffers first? Women and children. The culture's elevation of consent as the end-all, be-all is also proving to be disastrous, he continued. What was absolutely wrong 5 minutes ago becomes okay now because I simply found someone to consent to it. And we move the definition of consent to whatever line we have today downward. We're going to see the use and abuse of children. Last one, because then I gotta go. The Washington Examiner. What are they gonna say now? Holy moly. I'm scared. I'm scared to see. That was kind of weird. I hope nothing happens to this kid and that isn't like predictive programming or anything crazy. Move over, transgender kids. There is a new trend in town. Drag kids. Kids dressed in full garb of their biologically opposite gender are now joining the scene with transgender kids. The parents, guardians, and advocates of transgender or drag kids are not only supportive, but seem to be encouraging the child's experience and publicity. There's nothing politically correct about this new frontier. It's abuse, merely distorted and cloaked in progressivism. I agree. At first glance, Desmond and Queen Lactatia seem almost cartoonish and fabricated, but a closer look proves these are young children, 10 and 8 respectively, both born male, who not only dress in drag and look like females, but are advertising for companies. The Advocate reported that Lactatia was encouraged by his supportive parents, they always are, aren't they? And began taking classes to perfect his art. Lactatia's public presence grew exponentially after he recently appeared at the Montreal stop of the World Drag Tour. RuPaul's Drag Race star Bianca Del Rio invited Lactatia up on the stage, and the younger queen charmed the dress off the older queen, though Lactatia admitted his favorite Drag Race queen is Ginger Minj? Shoo, I don't know. Any parent of an elementary school-aged child knows children can't wear clothes they don't have or drive themselves places. The parents of these drag kids are not just supporting it, but encouraging it by purchasing supplies and carting their kids to drag events. This seems not only bizarre, but abusive in the sense that it's an unnatural distortion of healthy child's play. I agree. After tweeting this, the owner of the House of Man, Brandon Hilton, told BuzzFeed he was getting backlash and told he was abusive or participating in abuse. Well, yeah. Certainly, Hilton is not physically abusing these drag kids, and neither likely are the children's parents. What concerned onlookers likely mean is that children who are encouraged to embrace their opposite gender, or who are encouraged to dress in drag when they are not sexually developed or even coherent about sexuality, may grow up to be profoundly confused about their sexuality and gender. I definitely agree with that statement, and I do feel that, in the next 10 years, we're going to see a wave of those children now being young adults and just very confused. We'll see a lot of trans reversals. We'll see a lot of detransitioning. We'll also see a lot of suicides, of course, because most people regret having transitioned, end up killing themselves. We're going to see a wave of these people, of just sexual and gender confusion. It's already bad now. Can you imagine in 10 years, you guys? People are going to, I'm bringing this person home to meet my parents because we're going to get married and I want them to meet my parents. It would probably be illegal to even introduce them as a man or a woman. I bet you can't even do that in the future. I'm going to call it now, January 2019. By January 2029, it will be illegal to refer to people as boy and girl. This trend is not about a child being himself, but a parent encouraging an agenda that is unhealthy for a young child to embrace. I really wish this article wasn't so short, but I love very much that they said those bold statements, because I agree with all of them. In this case, you have a child who is heavily influenced by his family and demonic forces around him through the form of other drag people and whatnot. So, when you're under that kind of influence, it's hard to say what is in store for you next. I'm done. Look, you guys, in my opinion, this photo was just a test. It was just a test to see not a test to see how we would react, but a test to find out if they could get away with it. If they could legally get away with it, if they could morally get away with it. This was a test to push the limits, to finding out, can we get away with this? Putting this in their faces. Look at this. They have their arms around each other. This guy is all the way naked. He just has a pasty over his penis. a prepubescent 9-year-old in the arms of a butt-naked grown man. They're one and the same to me. They are just as bad. I really, really do think that the coming out of this photo was a test. It was not a test to see how people would react at all. It was a test to find out if they could get away with this. I'm so disappointed in us as humanity. I'm so disappointed in us. I'm disappointed in us that these people have been allowed to get away with this. I'm disappointed that they are able to just put this out there and nothing happened. I am so disappointed in us. We have no idea what they're doing to these children. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I encourage all of you to ask questions about the mass media around us. It will affect your spiritual health as well as the spiritual health of your friends, family, and loved ones. Question all of these fools, because it's not cool. It is not cool what they're feeding us. Ask questions, please. Don't just take in any form of manipulative media you can get your hands on and just go with the first thing that you read or you see. Do your research, you guys. Look things up. Go in your Bibles. See what your Bible has to say about some of these things. I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless you all.